Well, hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of our EKN OutLap, our preview podcast for an upcoming event. It is episode number 67, January the 29th, 2024. The season, of course, underway. Supercars USA Winter Series, Rock Cup, Florida Winter Tour, the Rotax Winter Trophy underway as well. A ton of racing in Florida. It seems to be, of course, the hub of a lot of karting nationally in the first quarter of the season. We're going to go west, though. It's time to get things rolling on the West Coast. The Challenge of the Americas set to roll out here again. My name is Rob Howden, joined as always by David Cole. We will bring him in here in a minute. Let's get started by introducing our presenting sponsor of today's OutLap podcast. That is the Skip Barber Racing School. Are you looking for the next step in racing? Go from karts to cars with the Skip Barber Racing School. Skip Barber alumni are champions in every motorsport series in Formula One, NASCAR, IMSA, and IndyCar. Get behind the wheel of a Skip Barber Formula 4 car featuring a 160 horsepower turbocharged engine. Our highly structured and competitive Skip Barber Formula Race Series is perfect for the perfect platform to start your racing career so you can fulfill your dream of becoming a champion. With equalized race cars and a focus on driver development, your driving skills will determine if you end up in victory lane. Learn more about the Skip Barber Racing School at skipbarber.com or by calling 866-934-1949. All right, David Cole, rolling into episode 67. We're going to the Challenge of the Americas, but just a spin-off of Skip Barber. I'm not sure I'm sure you got a chance to watch a bit of it, but I tuned in for quite a bit of the Rolex 24 this past weekend. Joseph Newgarden winning a Rolex. Skip Barber graduate as well.
He is. That is correct. Yeah. A number of probably Skip Barber graduates that were competing at the Rolex 24.
Yeah.
Probably even some instructors that were there racing as well, too, I believe. And you know, they haven't had that in the past. So, yeah, it was an interesting race. I missed the ending. I had to do some errands, so I missed the ending. But, you know, certainly drama throughout 24. A lot of wrecks in the early part, kind of made things a little bit uneasy for some of the drivers and teams, but you know, a lot of them powered through. And again, everything coming down to the wire after 24 hours. Pretty cool.
Hey, listen, and the bottom line is there's not only a connection with Skip Barber, as we know, a huge connection to karting, right? We will jump into this podcast sooner or later, but yeah, shout out to Connor Zilic. Obviously, a big win with him with Aero Motorsports. He gets a Rolex in his very first ever run. Connor is really shaking up the establishment this last couple of years. And I'll go way deeper. Connor's, of course, a very recent karter, but I'm going to go deep into a guy I watched karting for many, many years when he was a young kid in Ontario. Daniel Morad getting another Rolex as well, winning in one of the GT categories. So for my fellow Canadian from Ontario, I know Daniel really well, and it's so good to see him get another one.
Yeah, I believe it was his second 24-hour win. So it's been some time since he's been a regular at the at the event. So good to see him. He's the I just looked this up, 2010 Rotax Grand Finals winner in the DD2 category for Team Canada. So
there you go. Yep.
And Formula BMW driver as well too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talented driver for sure. And again, coming through the ranks of 4-cycle and 2-cycle karting up in Canada. Let's dive into this one now. We've got a lot. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about there. David, you and I haven't done a podcast for a while. I'm, of course, recovering from the lip surgery I had before Christmas, so it's feeling pretty good right now. I get a chance to stretch it out a bit, but it'll be working all weekend long for sure. You and I are going to the Challenge of the Americas, the opening round in Tucson, T1. As we're going back and forth, T1 and T2 at Tucson, just similar to, of course, Anaheim and Supercross, A1 and A2 events. February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th this coming weekend, David, we head out to Musselman Honda Circuit, one of my favorite events to call races on. Number one, because the tower is so tall, I can see everything. But number two, that racetrack, man, it's one of the best racetracks in the country.
The layout is perfect. It's great. It's fun and exciting. The difference, however, in the 8/10 mile, 13-turn track that we'll be visiting is we're going to go in the clockwise direction. This is something we haven't seen at this level of the event in a long time. I think somebody did it back in the past. It might have been Stars of Karting when the facility first opened up back in the early 2000s. But for the challenge, we've never done this clockwise. So this is going to be completely something new for for a lot of the teams who have been going to the challenge for a number of years, and for us, and for certainly for all the drivers who are in the challenge, because none of them were around when it was in the clockwise direction. So this is going to be the interesting part of this weekend for sure, is something brand new. It's the same, but brand new in terms of the way the racetrack is gonna go. So we're gonna see how it races this way. Obviously it's gonna have its passing positions and spots, but it's gonna be how the setup's gonna be changing. Obviously, mostly left-hand turns. You're still gonna have the S's after the straightaway, so how fast you're gonna be going through there. Lots of different elements that'll change things up, and coming to the finish line, that'll be unique as well too. Yeah, right. So lots of things to kind of gather and take in when we go to Tucson this weekend.
So those of you who may be new to the Challenge of the Americas, it's a 3-weekend, 6-event winter program, of course, on the West Coast. It's been going for several years, folks. The 17th edition of the Challenge. Been a lot of different iterations, obviously many years with the Rotax platform, and of course the last number strictly with the Rock program. This year, though, Andy Say's been the promoter, opening things wide open. The IAME engines have been legal in the KA categories for the last couple of years, but now wide open for essentially everything. For Tag Cadet, you can run the IAME or the Rock. Same goes for the 100cc categories. Really hasn't been any kind of 125cc single speed in the category for the last couple of years. But David, opening up in the shifter kart classes too. We'll just throw that out there for those that are new. Not only the Rock shifter, but also now running heads up will be the KZ category. So it'll be interesting to see how shifter rolls out this year.
Yeah, the KZ platform welcomed into the shifter categories, both senior and master. So that'll be something we'll kind of dictate and follow throughout the weekend, what engines people are going to be running in those categories, and all the other categories as well too. I know typically we see the VLR as the engine of choice in junior 100cc category. The senior kind of goes back and forth. Some drivers use the VLR, some use the IAME. With the Masters, kind of the same thing as well too, kind of back and forth. It's kind of a mix. I want to say VLR won one day and IAME won the next at Tucson last year. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that. And as you said, yeah, the 60cc cadet category will be welcoming both. So again, kind of monitoring the engine selection for the drivers on the weekend.
So David mentioned 0.8 of a mile, the track, Musselman Honda circuit, 13 corners. It's a replica of the famous Suzuka track in Japan. 10th time that the challenge has come to Tucson to run the event itself. Back in the first time actually was back in 2012. And David, that was actually the first time we ever did a live event with them as well, back in 2012. 11 years. 12.
Do your math. Come on now.
Yeah, our 12th year. I forgot that it was 2024.
It is 2024, Rob. Yeah, it's been our 12th season covering the challenge of their 17th now season that they'll be heading into. And yeah, this is again, the racetrack races well. We'll see how it goes in this direction. The main question, aside from the track direction, will be weather. Yeah. That's something we're kind of keeping an eye on. Temperatures right now are going to be in the 50s for Friday and Saturday. So bundle up, be ready. And an 89% chance of rain right now, as of this morning on Friday. So practice day might be disrupted by rain, which is something we've not seen in Tucson. I don't think. I mean, we had the cold weather where it was frost in the morning and some engines got frozen with the water inside of them. But I don't think we saw any rain in Tucson. Maybe a couple drizzles here and there, but nothing to where it's saying, hey, 89% chance of rain. I've not seen that before.
We'll see how it all plays out. David, give us a lineup of how things are rolling here for the event schedule. I know practice. I think they're going to get rolling on practice on Wednesday this week. Run, of course, by the racetrack.
Yeah, you'll have unofficial practice on Wednesday and Thursday. It's same as you typically see with most events, and the challenge has been doing that for a number of years. Then we'll get into official practice on Friday, and that is going to be 5 rounds per class. You'll have 10 minutes each for the first 2 rounds of practice. Then you'll go into 12 minutes each for rounds 3 and 4. And then you'll have hot pit open for 20 minutes for the 6 categories that'll be competing. So at the end of the day on Friday, pre-qualifying time practice, 20-minute hot pit session. That'll be an interesting one to watch because you'll see drivers come in, make changes, go back out, and either getting race pace down or trying to find some time to get into qualifying the next day.
And we'll go live during that session on EKN Radio as well, right?
We'll talk about that.
All right.
yeah. I mean, it's 2.5 hours. I mean, yeah, we'll figure something out to where we can do it. We haven't really gone over our weekend schedule regarding that, but that is something
live here in the show.
There you go. So then we'll get into Saturday, round 1. That'll be qualifying, or you'll do warm up, qualifying in the morning, and then we'll have pre-finals. 14 laps for all the categories, 12 laps for cadets. And then we'll get in the main events, 20 laps for most of the categories and 16 laps for cadets. And then we'll repeat that same format on Sunday for round 2.
Yeah, back-to-back, round 1, round 2. Weather sounds like it's going to be very interesting. We'll see how it all plays out. Time for us to jump into our first commercial break, folks. When we get back, we'll jump back into episode 67 of the EKN OutLap. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and arrive and drive programs at many of karting's biggest East Coast events, full product sales and service, and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group is an official Kart Republic race team, providing full trackside support at all the major USA karting events, including the SCUSA Pro Tour, United States Pro Kart Series, SCUSA Super Nationals 25, and other events throughout the 2022 season. TKG has in stock Kart Republic, IAME, MG and Avinco tires, and more products for those in Ohio and the Midwest region. Trinity Karting Group has a long history of the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. It's a multi-time world champion, and it's a SuperKarts USA Super Nationals winner. It is Sodi Kart. And starting in 2023, the Sodi brand has found a new home here in the U.S. Sodi Racing USA is the new exclusive importer of the Sodi Kart chassis line under the karting distribution banner, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer Sodi Kart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers product in classes from Mini to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has already begun establishing its dealer network, working with the Karting Collective on the West Coast, and recently signing PK Sport to serve as a dealer and the official race team on the East Coast. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about the Sodi Kart chassis line, or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodi Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. Welcome back to episode 67 of the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast coming into one of our EKN Trackside live events. This one, the Challenge of the Americas, the opening round of the 17th season of the Challenge. Looking forward to getting out to Tucson, Arizona. I'm Rob Howden, joined by David Cole, my first podcast here to start the 2024 season, having been on the bench there for a bit. David, in this particular segment, let's jump into the by the numbers, because there is a bit of an adjustment this year. One of the key things coming in was one of last year's exciting components, was the worldwide global debut of the OKN category at the Challenge, the first series in the world to run it. We ended up getting up to, I think, 10 entries at one event. Some momentum on the East Coast to keep OKN going in the Stars category, but man, the momentum did not continue on the West Coast. The old issue of karting where people sit on the sidelines and say, well, hey, who's entered? Nobody's entered yet. Well, I'm not going to enter, as opposed to entering and building. And it ends up being really the sad part of that, where just, there were guys who were saying they wanted to come. They didn't. No class.
And I think it's just part of the way the engine platform hasn't really taken off so much on the West Coast.
Yeah.
When you look at it, the Challenge in the Americas was the only program that ran it. No clubs ran it. No regional programs ran it. So it's kind of hard to build numbers if there aren't places to go and race it.
True.
Again, you got to have a place to race in order for this class or this engine platform to take off. So that's part of it, I think. And again, when you're racing against maybe 9 to 10 people as they were last year, you can go to 100cc side and race against 30. So I think it's, again, people are drawn in by numbers. And I think the senior 100cc category has been the one that's been drawing the numbers over the last couple of seasons at the Challenge. And that's where a lot of the senior drivers are going, or they're going to shifter, where we're seeing an increase in numbers as well too. So, but still, when you factor in the drop of OKN, there's an increase across the board in the remaining 6 categories, because we're up to 117 pre-entries going into the weekend. That's 3 shy of what we had in total last year at Tucson, including OKN. So we've seen an increase across the board. That's a solid start. To be basically the record at Tucson so far is 130. That was in 2021. So we're about 13 off of that. So again, there's the opportunity to probably have a dozen walk-ups as we typically see in Tucson for the series opener, because again, a lot of people waiting till the last minute to go or to confirm they're going. And so maybe we'll see that number matched or get close to it. That's what kind of my forecast is going into the weekend.
Agreed. Yeah. Big numbers, of course. We talked about the fact that they had a good increase in the tag cadet 60cc category, 14 drivers in total in that one. That always bodes well when you get the younger kids starting to come in. The 100cc classes, David, as you have mentioned, really have kind of been the high watermark, both close to 30. Actually, junior 100cc over 30 at 31 right now. The senior category at 29. So expect that one to go over 30 as well. Masters drivers in the 100cc class, 13 in total. 30 drivers in shifter, 17 in the senior shifter category, 13 right now in the shifter masters class. That seems to be one of the classes, especially shifter master. We get a couple of kind of guys walking up at the end, right? I wouldn't be surprised if that gets to 15, 16 or more in the masters category for guys that haven't signed up yet.
Yeah, and that's the big boost, because last year we did not have the numbers there. That was one of the classes that was struggling in terms of numbers for some reason last year. Looks like last year we had roughly about just over 10. So it's an increase there. But as the season went on, the numbers dropped off drastically. So hopefully we'll be able to keep it at a dozen or more in the shifter masters class.
Well, and I talked to a number of guys that maybe weren't coming to Tucson, but I know that there's at least a handful of guys that are potentially looking to do the Sonoma race, the finale. So that's always good too. So hopefully we'll have, if we do lose some guys, we'll have some more guys come in. It's just, again, numbers breed numbers, right? We would love to have seen like all of these guys kind of get in there and have this be the big West Coast, shifter kart program to start the season off to get those guys fired up. But 13 is still strong in the masters class, and 17 in senior, nothing to sneeze at all.
Yeah, no, 17 in the senior category, and we got a number of big hitters in that class that we'll go over when we get into the class previews.
Yeah, speaking of that, let's go to another quick break. When we come back, we'll have a look at both these shifter categories, both shifter senior and shifter masters. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the U.S., OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. From the legendary Tony Kart brand to the race-winning Cosmic and Esprit chassis, and now the new Red Speed and EOS brands, OTK quality is second to none. All 5 brands are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Ruck Cup USA Florida Winter Tour and the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, and the Pro Kart Challenge, the United States Pro Kart Series, and the WKA Manufacturers Cup. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. To learn more about a specific product line, you can find the OTK USA dealer near you, whether it's Tony Kart, Cosmic, Xpree, Red Speed, or EOS. Visit www.otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. Made in the USA. It's not just a statement, it's the mission at Factory Karts of America. Led by 4-time Supernats champion Billy Musgrave, Factory Karts manufactures their frames completely in-house at the Riverside, California facility. Built and designed from the ground up specifically for the American karting market, Factory Karts brings new innovations and solutions that are long overdue. Factory Karts bring together the highest quality materials to produce a high-performance, long-lasting kart that has been designed and perfected from 3 years of development, with a focus for a big push across North America in 2023. No other karting manufacturer stands behind its product like Factory Karts does, providing a 2-year warranty on all their frames. Do you remember when American made meant innovative, original, stronger, faster, and just plain better? Well, American Made is back. Contact Factory Karts today to join the American Made movement. Learn more by visiting factorykarts.com or email Billy anytime at info@factorykarts.com. Welcome back to our second EKN OutLap of the year as we get set to roll out to the Challenge of the Americas, the opening round in Tucson, Arizona this coming weekend, February 2nd to the 4th. Myself, Rob Howden, and David Cole will be trackside for that event. David, let's go class by class right now. Let's jump into the senior shifter class here. 17 drivers in total, including the return of the champion from last year, Jacob Gulick. Really a breakout season for Jacob Gulick last year. He had a tremendous run.
He certainly did, was one of the top drivers in our EKN driver rankings presented by Skip Barber Racing School. It was, 3 wins on the 6 rounds of the challenge that helped him secure that championship. And going into this year, certainly going to be one of the drivers to watch. But it's a GFC filled field. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers of the 17 on GFC chassis. So you're going to see a lot of black and white out there towards the front, including Gulick, including former series champion Kyle Wick, including former series champion Hunter Pickett, all on the GFC brand.
Yeah, and then you look at some of the other guys, right? Alan Shuto, who was almost won a Supernats back in what, Dave? What year was that? 2024, 25? Remember when he broke in the last lap? And that's the year that Jason Bullis won.
Oh, we're going to go way back? That's 2004. That was the first Supernats I went to, yes.
Yeah, so like back in 2000. So Alan Shuto, of course, has run Toyota Atlantic. But this guy's a driver. He could be in the Masters class.
Well, he should be.
Yeah.
He almost won the Super Nationals in the Masters class back at Super Nationals 25. So, on a GFC. So that is, it's interesting to see him. He's with Keon Tandon, who he's been working with for a number of years. So both of them going to be in this shifter senior category, helping with the GFC, along with Jonathan Vitolo, last year's shifter master champion, moving into the senior category. So, you got 2 Masters drivers right there and running in the senior ranks.
Indeed, that kind of surprised me a little bit. One of the drivers we profiled last year, David, as well, Ethan Boer with GFC and Former was coming back at again. We'll see if he can step up to the next level. But like you said, it's a stacked field right now.
Yeah, the one name that you really want to look at is Boss Lammers. This is a legend in the sport, 2-time KZ world champion coming over to the United States. He's going to be racing with a Talcart factory racing team. The Dutch driver is probably one of the more unique drivers in the sport over the sports genre, really. Yeah. I mean, it's just he no matter what it is, he's done it. He's done single speed shifter racing, been at the Supernats a number of times as well. Didn't quite get a victory there, but was among the top contenders year in and year out that he was there. So excited to see Boss back behind the wheel. Does a lot of coaching most of the time. So to see him back behind the wheel, maybe he'll be David Foray-esque and come back and show these young guns how to do it.
A pretty strong team out of the Italian Motors camp as well, right? On the ITAL kart, they've got, of course, Michael Valiente's son, Massimo Valiente, made his debut in the pro category, the Supernats. Daniel Vasile, the Romanian there as well, Nicholas Taylor. So they've got a pretty good crew of drivers that they've brought down. Like we said, lots of GFCs, but a good group of 4 drivers on ITAL karts as well.
Yeah, that's the next biggest group when you look at it. I think CRG's got a couple. They got Michael Avancino and David Williams with Ron White Racing, and that's typically been, that CRG package has been really fast in the shifter categories. So that's how you look at it with that. And Anthony Freeze returning back to the shifter kart field as well, too. He ran the OKN category last year.
Let's jump into the master shifter class. We had mentioned earlier that 13 drivers in total. They will not see the defense from Jonathan Vitola. We talked about the fact that he's entered into the senior category, so Vitolo's not going to be there. So that kind of opens things up for maybe one of the drivers, David, that was able to win last year, right? Bud Grossenbacher was very quick last year. He'll be on a TB kart here. Is he one of the guys to watch? Although I think probably the guy that we've seen many times would be Cody Hodgson. I think he's going to see Hodgson's name on there. He's definitely going to be one to beat.
Yeah, Bud Grossenbacher won at the Phoenix Kart Racing Association weekend. That was his only weekend at racing. He didn't go to Sonoma, didn't go to Tucson. So that was the only time we saw him at the challenge last year. So going down to Tucson, and he's got to be one to watch. But yes, Cody Hodgson, he's been a quick driver in shifter kart categories for a number of years. Moving over to the master ranks now, but also having to contend with a multi-time challenge champion that's going to do some 6-speed racing, Derek Wang. This is a guy who's not a stranger to shifter kart racing, just ran Supernats back in November, ran some shifter kart racing back in the day as well, too. So not a big fan of the 100cc racing, so he's moving into shifter karts. So this is where we find Derek Wang ending up. And so I got to think Grossenbacher, Hodgson, and Wang are going to be probably the 3 drivers to kind of watch in this category. Well,
and then a couple of veterans coming down from Canada. Canadians have always been a big part of the challenge of the Americas. Joey Guion with his company Overdrive Motorsports does a lot of work with the guys at Ruthless Karting for the challenge. He's going to be running as well, as is Rob Kozakowski. He'll be with Michael Valiente and the Italian Motors crew. So a couple more Canadians coming down there, David, to battle things out.
Yeah, you always got to bring up the Canadians, don't you?
Well, it's international, right? You got to play that international.
It is. Yeah. No, it's great. That's something the challenge is about. A lot of the Canadian drivers, especially from the western side of the country, coming down, getting to experience kart racing, get the season started down in the challenge before the snow melts and gets going up north.
I love it. All right, another quick break, folks. When we get back, we'll dive into the 2 big 100cc categories. This edition of the OutLap continuing here on the EKN Radio Network. Check out any major national karting event, and what's the common thread? Speed Concepts Racing. Up front, in every class, every weekend. The Speed family has been at the forefront of American karting for over 25 years. And Speed Concepts Racing is the sole dedication of Father Mike Speed and his multi-time championship-winning son Alex Speed. This program is all about passion for the sport and a dedication to winning. They know how to get it done. If you're a senior driver ready to put yourself amongst the best in the country, Speed Concepts Racing is the program for you. We can win the big races. You just need to be in the seat. The Speeds program has delivered time over time in the junior classes as well, helping to elevate a long list of young drivers from mid-pack to potential race winners. Speed Concepts Racing has the perfect equation of coaching, driver development, and technical knowledge to elevate your program. Arrive and drive opportunities are available for the remainder of the 2023 season, and we're locking in seats for 2024 as well. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, contact Speed Concepts Racing through email at speedconceptsracing@gmail.com. Winning takes top quality equipment, flawless preparation, experienced coaching, and passion. And at Team GFC, we live our passion. Developed by American karting champion Gary Carlton, the GFC chassis has become one of the newest brands to reach the top of the podium in North America. GFC has garnered victories and championships at all levels of the sport since its debut at the end of 2018. Shifter car drivers are at the front of the field in the GT14 frame, with the SS31 a consistent contender in tag and 100cc competition. Team GFC has arrive and drive packages available for all categories, including the mini and micro classes utilizing the GFC RR5 cadet chassis. These young pilots have the opportunity to be part of the Team GFC Young Driver Development Program. Learn from one of the best American karters with 28 years racing at the highest levels in the sport, offering personalized training on and off the track. Follow GFC Karting on Facebook and Instagram, or click over to gfckarting.com to learn more about joining Team GFC. GFC, live your passion. Welcome back to episode 67 of our EKN OutLap. It's myself, Rob Howden, and David Cole diving into the preview of this coming weekend's Challenge of the Americas opener in Tucson, Arizona. T1, if you will. Back-to-back events at Tucson to start the season before we cap things off at Sonoma Raceway, as we always do. Jumping into the actual class-by-class previews, we wrapped up the senior and master shifter classes before this. Let's go in now, David, to the 100cc classes. 29 drivers in senior 100cc. Last year's winner, Liam Lech, although Liam will not be running here this weekend. I believe he's working for Arrow McLaren now as a data guy, as a DAG, I think now. He won't be here, but there are a number of very big drivers that we're going to see potentially battle for race wins here this year.
Yeah, none of the former winners from last year are in this field for this weekend. No Chase Hand, no Liam Lech, no Oliver Hodgson, no Harley Keeble, no Jesus Vasquez Jr. So we could see, some first-time winners at the challenge in this category. You look at it, Parker DeLong and Josh Campbell are probably the more experienced drivers in the field.
Agreed.
Certainly Campbell was one of the top 100cc drivers throughout 2023. So he's going to be coming in as probably one of the drivers to watch. Alex Mercado, he's been one of those drivers that has kind of raced all over the country in the 100cc category. Travis Varney as well too with FDM. Those are some of the names to look for. Keegan Kaminsky as well too. He's a junior driver coming up to the senior ranks.
Moving up.
So we'll see how he does making his senior debut. But again, a number of names that are kind of looking to get breakthrough performances here at the challenge.
Yeah, I would agree. It's kind of an interesting year. Those big guns we've seen in years past, as you mentioned, obviously Harley Keeble coming in with the Sodi Kart program, running with the Karting Collective last year. It was kind of a big deal for Sodi Kart to break in. He was able to get a win. Vasquez, as we know, has always done some racing with Nash. Lech, of course, Chase Hand has been a part of the program for the last couple of years. I would say drivers that could still step up, a driver like maybe a Shea Aldrich from Precision Works could be there. Ryan Persing, David for Nash Motorsports has always shown good speed. We talked about the loss of OKN. Chris Martin last year, remember with Karting Collective, he was one of the drivers that ran in the OKN class. So Sodi Kart still going to have a pretty good representation on the weekend as well.
Yeah, that'll be another name to watch, having the OKN experience. He kind of dabbled back and forth, OKN, 100cc stuff. So, yeah, that's another name to kind of watch on the weekend.
Interesting. Let's see how things go in junior 100cc. 31 drivers, the biggest field of the year to start off here on the West Coast. Obviously, strong group. And it'll be the driver who won last year, the champ, Nix Eggleston. David coming back to defend that title.
Yeah, he's a 3-time winner last year, and that helped him earn the series championship and become pretty much a regular at the forefront in junior racing, especially in the 100cc category. We saw him do well at the Road Tax U.S. Trophy Finals, so he got to represent Team USA over there at the Road Tax Grand Finals. So Eggleston certainly becoming an elevated driver in the junior ranks, especially with the championship last year. So certainly he'll be the bullseye going into the weekend. When you look at it, last year's winners also include Archer Eversman. He's returning. No Altman, no Korn in the field this weekend. So Eggleston and Eversman are kind of the more experienced drivers of the field. Nico Serafati coming into his second season in the junior ranks. Rocky Moran, driver, I think this is a third season in the junior ranks. Alexander Gonzalez, he's won at the challenge, didn't get a victory last year, so he's coming back into junior ranks. So we'll see if he's able to contend for a podium and victories as well. But a number of junior drivers as well, or junior rookies coming into the field. Talk about last year mini winners. You got Mateo Calderon, Luca Papascu, and Jackson Gibson, a driver we've seen do well at the national level, a Super Nationals winner as well, making his junior debut.
Well, I think you throw in Alex Rentala in there as well, a good field for the GFC Formula Works guys. I think you have to look as well, because she's been very fast this last year and has been getting better and better. That's Peyton Westcott. I think Peyton's going to be going for race wins here this weekend. I'll throw that out here right now. I think he'll be her final year, I believe, in the junior 100cc class. So I would watch for her to be right in the middle of the fight as well. You mentioned Rocky Moran. There's other drivers that we've just talked about over the last couple of years, right, David? Like a Xander Malatesta. Some of these drivers that just find their way to the front. And again, this is the one thing we really haven't talked about yet. This is kind of that debut weekend for the West Coast. A lot of the young drivers that moved up from mini to junior to senior, whatever, we've seen them running on the East Coast, right? That SCUSA Winter Series, Florida Winter Tour. Now, of course, the Rotax Winter Cup. For the drivers here on the West Coast, this is it. This is that debut weekend to start the 2024 season.
That's a good point. I don't think any of these drivers that are in this junior field raced over on the east side of the country. So this is, as you said, this is their 2024 opener. So that's a good point. That's unique, because typically we see some drivers double dipping, going over to the SCUSA race or going to the Rock Cup Florida Winter Tour race, and then coming back to the challenge to get that first race, or already having that first race under their belt.
That's it. One more break, folks. When we get back, we'll wrap up our preview, have a look at the Masters 100cc category, as well as the Cadet 60cc class. Stay with us. When we get back, we'll wrap up this edition of the OutLap. There's a new hot button name in American safety equipment: Stilo USA. Every product with Stilo is focused on safety, comfort, and function. Stilo USA is happy to provide you with the proper safety apparel to keep you protected on the track, and their karting lineup is second to none. The ST5 KRT karting helmet is available for $599. Manufactured using a lightweight and extremely strong composite material, the KRT provides an excellent fit and comfort level due to its dual density interior foam lining, and it's equipped with a symmetrical visor that offers excellent vision and an effortless central visor locking system. The ST5 CMR standard was developed jointly by the FIA Institute and Snell Memorial Foundation to ensure safer and lighter weight helmets for the younger karters. Drivers rave about the superior comfort levels, lightweight construction, and the unparalleled field of vision. The perfect youth helmet is available for $549. Stilo didn't stop with their helmets either. The newly developed Carbon Curva Rib Protector is unlike any on the market, with its form-fitting solution to offer superior protection. Head to StiloHelmets.com to review these and many more products to keep you safe on the track. Stilo. Any competition, one helmet.
Wins in the sport's biggest races and championships in national and regional series all over the country, they're all on Nitro Kart's growing resume. Nitro Kart continues to make its statement as the best, fastest, and winningest cadet chassis on the American market. In 2021, Nitro Kart won the 3 biggest crowns in America in the Microswift division, with Mateo Rosu in the SCUSA Pro Tour and both the Super Nationals and the USPKS titles with Keelan Harvick. At the Super Nats alone, 3 of the top 5 drivers on the podium got there on a Nitro Kart. The results are clear. If you want to win in cadet, get a Nitro Kart and join our team. At Nitro Kart, we're all about driver development. Nick Tucker and the Nitro Crew's racing resumes are extensive, and their passion for helping our kids learn is unparalleled. Racing is about consistent learning, and that's what we're all about here at Nitro Kart. Never wanting to quit, we've continued to extend the reach of our driver development program. In addition to expanding into the junior and senior karting categories, we've also launched Nitro Motorsports, which will field 2 cars this season in the Trans Am by Pirelli series, one being piloted by karting champion Brent Cruz. Not only can we develop your young driver, but we can also provide the platform if a move to cars is in your plan. And our second seat is available. If you're serious about your driver's career, contact us today.
Welcome back to episode 67 of our OutLap podcast, previewing this coming weekend's Challenge of the Americas opener, T1 in Tucson, Arizona. Looking forward to getting out to Tucson, not only for the track itself, but just to get back with the entire Challenge family. Always such a great atmosphere there at Trackside. David, let's dive into the Masters 100cc class. 13 pre-entries. I was surprised we do not see the guy who won the championship last year, Ian Kunchez, not on the entry list.
Yeah, the 3-time winner last year, not on the entry list. Along with Christopher Mann, another driver not returning. He was able to challenge Kunchez for the championship. I think it was only 2 points separating the two drivers last year. So no Kunchez, no Christopher Mann, no Billy Cleveland, and other regulars that we typically have seen at the challenge over the last couple of years in this category.
Changing of the guard.
However, there are returning drivers that we've seen here in the past, among them former series champion Paul Bonilla. You got to start with a former series champion like him. We have not seen him at the challenge for quite some time, probably since 2020, maybe 2021. Unique to see Paul Bonilla coming back. He'll be racing with Phil Giebler Racing, but also Travis Irving. This is a name I've seen since 2004. He won at the Super Nationals a couple years after that, and he's been kind of in karting and out of karting, and he's back. So he's joining GFC Formula Works. So he'll be aboard the GFC. That's another name. Matthew Ostagai. He's been a former challenge racer as well too. He's going to be in the mix in Master 100cc. So. But also Greg Welch, the Forward Direction Motorsport owner. He's essentially replacing Kunchez. So I guess he kicked Ian out and is going to do some racing of his own.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit here, because it is an interesting component of the weekend. It will be their debut essentially nationally, running now the new kart that they're going to be distributing here in the U.S., right?
Yeah, the Pantano chassis, something that is obviously made in Italy. But they will be Forward Direction Motorsport will be importing this chassis, so they are the importer for this new brand that certainly we don't know too much about, and something we'll be learning over the weekend. It's very similar, however, to the comp kart colors that they have been flying for the last couple of years. So we'll see how much similar it is, or what it's similar to when we get trackside.
Yeah, look forward to giving a good look over that chassis for sure. One last one. We cannot get through this without talking about the driver, remember, who actually was on the podium at the Super Nats in the Masters category. A tremendously inspirational story. Casey Cook back at it again. He could be a driver to go for the race win here this weekend.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, he's been there every race that we've seen him do. So he'll be trading in the flags, which he did a couple of years ago at the challenge, and will be putting on the helmet. So that's good to see. But there's no doubt he has the ability to win this weekend. It boils down to, obviously, he's been working hard on his conditioning, making sure he's ready to go. And so we'll see if he has what it takes to be able to pick up that first. I don't think he's ever won at the challenge, so to see if he's able to notch his name into the winners list. Yeah, an absolutely incredible story. I mentioned it being an inspiration for Casey Cook, battling cystic fibrosis, a lung transplant somewhere down the line in his future. They're working to raise money for that. But his love is kart racing and motorsports, and we love seeing him get back out when he possibly can. Let's wrap things up, David, with our 60cc cadet category. 14 pre-entries. Last year's champion Braden Wagner back in the fight. We'll see if he can go 2 for 2. Listen, bottom line is, out of the gate, he's going to be the driver everybody's chasing. Yeah, the GFC driver under the Formula Works tent. That is, he's the driver to watch in this category. He's got the most experience. He's got the championship under his belt from last year. Only won one time last year. We had 5 different drivers win last year. And he's the only one returning. We got a couple that have moved up to the junior ranks and a couple that are not. I think they've all moved up to the junior ranks. So he's got the most experience coming in. Probably next to him would probably be Paxton Romero. He finished in the top 5 in the championship last year. Connor Lipka, he's a driver that won the micro division at the U.S. Trophy Final, or I believe it was the Cup Karts race that he won. So Cup Karts Grand Nationals. So both same racetrack. So I got confused there. Cam Becker, a couple weeks of each other, by the way. Yeah. Cam Becker, another name to kind of watch. This will be. It's good to see 14 drivers. So we got more than a dozen in the field, and we'll kind of be learning more about the others that we don't know too much about.
The one that I'm looking forward to, because I first met this young man at Portland International Raceway at the IndyCar event. I was there, of course, for the USF Pro Championships. It was a number of years ago up in Portland. Caleb Canfield, young driver who I met his dad, met him and Caleb. Caleb's has loved cars and racing since he was just a little tyke. And I kind of pointed them in the direction of Pat's Acres, and those are the people you need to talk to. And now the kid's, running as much as he can up in the Pacific Northwest. I see him all the time at that Portland event. So looking forward to seeing Caleb come down from Portland for his first ever big national event. So he'll be running with Ruthless Karting. So good to have the Canfield family down there.
Well, that's a cool story. It kind of reminds me of the Lucas Palacio story when he was yelling "book it" with his little race cars.
That's true. That is awesome. Good stuff. All right, David, let's wrap things up here. Of course, as you all know, we'll be streaming our live audio on ekartingnews.com/live. You can listen on the EKN Radio Network app on your phone as well. We'll be hammering down social media all weekend long as we do. So follow, of course, the hashtags to be able to follow everything we do. Hashtag EKN at CODA. Hashtag the challenge and hashtag Tucson. We'll see if we can't get ourselves on the radar a bit there in the local Tucson area. But David, bottom line is for you and I, you've already been trackside once. I was not able to make the trek down to Scusa for the opening round of that series. We'll do that the weekend after. So it'll be a busy week next week. We'll have a debrief podcast and an outlap podcast to get done before we head down to the Scusa event to cap off the winter series. But yeah, you and I trackside back in Tucson. I'll say this. My Facebook memories for the last 8 days have been nothing but pictures of In-N-Out Burger.
I was thinking the same thing. Oh my God. That's all I saw. It's been me shoveling before I leave or me shoveling when I get back. And In-N-Out Burgers. And In-N-Out Burger. Yeah. So thankfully the shoveling's done. We haven't. It's been a busy January full of snow. So now we're getting warmer temperatures and the snow is starting to melt. So I don't have any of that to worry about. But the In-N-Out Burger feed has been compiling and piling.
No doubt.
And excited. I know you've been irking to get some real food like an In-N-Out Burger around those lips of yours.
I'm hopefully I can open up wide enough for it. We'll see how it works.
Hey, just take small little bites. Enjoy it. Like I say, enjoy every second of it. That's what I do when I go to In-N-Out Burger.
Maybe I'll need to do a Flying Dutchman instead. We'll see how
it works. But yeah, excited to get back to the challenge. Excited to get back to Tucson. I know we're going to hit up to so many of the other local establishments in terms of food, pizza and Mexican and other cravings that we'll have throughout the weekend. But yeah, they get back to the challenge family, get to see all of the dedicated workers that are a part of Andy Saisman's staff there. And again, the racers, because a lot of like you said, that's a great note. A lot of these racers have not even started the 2024 season yet. So this is going to be their first weekend out officially in competition. And so it's going to be an exciting weekend to watch. Again, only 6 categories. So it's going to be condensed, but enjoyable and fun weekend like we always do at the challenge.
Yeah, so 117 pre-entries over 6 classes, right? This is what we're talking about. Listen, walk-ups could get us up to 130. That's the most we've ever had, I think, for the opening round. So an opportunity for a good start to the season for T1. Looking forward to, of course, coming back to Tucson again in March for T2. And then heading, of course, Sonoma to wrap things up on the season as well. But yeah, looking forward to start to a good season. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. If you haven't had a chance to look at the Promoters Series article that we did with Andy Saisman, so a really good look into kind of some of the stuff that's happened here the last little bit for the series. Great interview with Andy. Go check that out online on the website. We did one with Brittany Loba as well. I've got other ones we're working on right now with John Giacomelli from Race Rotax. I'm working on one with Brett Spouty as well from CKNA South. Big numbers for the CKNA South Series at Jacksonville. They're looking at pushing potentially 200 entries this coming weekend at 103rd Street. So that's big for them. But a number of different interviews we're working on as part of our promoters series. So that's going to be a really good kind of look into how the series and program is starting here for 2024. Thanks, folks, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Could be some cool temperatures, maybe some rain on Friday at Tucson, which would be very odd for sure. Not something we normally see in Arizona. Hoping for a fantastic weekend after that. We hope you tune in for the broadcast. Looking forward to it. David Cole will be trackside throughout the weekend doing everything he does on a weekend basis. Thank you again for tuning in to this edition of the Outlap. On behalf of David Cole, my name is Rob Howden. Bye.